Hi guys. Okay, so I was going through some footage in my camera from 2021 and forgot that I had all this like cool content from one of my best and oldest friends who's a master potter. She is incredible. Like, she's been doing pottery since she was like 14. We grew up together, but it's not often. I think it was the only time that Zahava has ever stayed here for, I think it was like 3 days, and we had so much fun. But I wanted to share some of her amazingness with you guys. And this video is about her just making a donut shaped foot ring. She makes these beautiful bowls that are like a V shape. And then she puts these like gorgeous foot rings on them. And at the time, I had never practiced that, or I wasn't that good at making foot rings at all. So she was teaching me in this like video that I put together. So hopefully it helps you and you'll get some tips from it. You can find her on Instagram. She goes by @InnerLightPottery. And she's just an extraordinary like human, but she's a more extraordinary artist and like master potter. Like, she's incredible. She's really into sgraffito, if any of you are familiar with that. It's, when you put underglaze on a bowl or a plate or whatever, a piece, and then you put some designs into it. You like carve away or scratch away the underglaze so it exposes the clay underneath it so you can see the design. She's amazing at it, and she does it all freehand. It's like all by eye. So check out her Instagram. You'll be like amazed at some of her work. But for you today, thought it'd be such a treat to just share a little bit of her with you and see if it helps, see if you like it. And I hope you enjoy it. Okay, bye.
So I'm gonna go in right where the pot itself meets the foot. And what I'm doing is making this, I'm making this a little more dramatic because we want this round shape. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna take some of this clay out here. There's plenty to work with.
Okay.
See, I'm right where the bottom of the bowl meets that messy part that I cut is where I'm cutting in. Now I made a ridge here, but I'm gonna smooth that out so it's really nice and like, it flows with the shape, you know what I mean?
Now do you push down?
Let's see.
Or do you go in? Do you push in or
Maybe
down?
a little in and down.
Okay.
It depends on the angle really and the shape that I'm going for. I'm like following the curve of the bowl. And the outside of the bottom of this bowl is just slightly out of center, but I can trim that away. And when the clay is wet, you have to stop more and pull the, because it doesn't just fall off like it does when it's drier. But this is actually really nice to trim because it's so much drier than what I'm used to.
Isn't it? I see. Okay. So you kind of, I see what you're doing.
And I'm gonna go in and like smooth out all these lines, but right now I'm just trying to get like the rough beginning of where I'm gonna.
So it's exposing more of the foot the more you go in.
Exactly. So you get that more dramatic circle, like donut. So now I'm like, it's like excavating. Almost like I'm exposing. I don't know.
All right, so you're going in more to get that. That's how you're cutting into the foot.
So now it's gonna be it's all about shaping this round donut thing, right? Actually, this is a pretty like drastic one. It'll be pretty.
Not so thick. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. So, well, I could go thinner. I could go in,
like
but
it.
I like it. Like I don't. And you also have to think function. If you go too skinny, you're gonna have like a bowl that's easy to knock over.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like I could go real thin and make this foot like this, but then like it's not that functional of a bowl because it's gonna be tippy. So then I'm gonna go in and start to work. I'm gonna think about how thick I want my rim. And I'm gonna cut that middle part out. I'm just literally shaving it down. What I keep in my mind is sort of like the idea of like, if I were to take this bowl and remove the foot, like this is a continuation of this, like, you know, and if I were to set it on like a round donut, what would it look like from the bottom? You know what I mean? I want it to look sort of continuous. So I can go down a little further. Watch me say that and then go right through the bottom.
No, it's thick.
It is thick, it's totally.
I see.
And I have to say, to be honest, I think you need Dolan tools.
Are those not?
They're fine,
What
but
are
the Dolans I think they're stainless steel. These might be too.
Is that not Dolan?
But I wonder if it's because you don't wash them every time. They're a little bit dull. It really does help.
All right, I'll get new ones.
They're just like a little bit less like buttery when you cut into it, you know? I use this shape and I use this shape the most. And I have a thick one. This is a thicker one, but I have a thinner one of these. And these are the ones I like the most. Don't ask me why. I just do. Like, I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason. I just don't know what it is. So then I'm thinking like, okay, I'm working on this donut shape, right? So I want to carve in at an angle because I want it to be round. So I want a little indent, like inwards.
How did you do that?
I just angled my tool inwards. Like, I'm gonna clean this up so it's easier for you to see right here. I wonder if you holding the camera on the top here might help for later. Okay, so you were asking about that indentation. So, okay. I wanna carve a slight angle right here so that the lip comes out at an angle this way. Can you see that indent here? And it's sort of at it's not straight up and down like this, it's like this.
Oh.
Versus this.
That's what I always do.
Yeah.
I always go straight.
Okay, but you were thinking we're making this like donut shape, right? So now it's about just rounding out this part.
But
you know
how
what
did
I mean?
You get that angle again?
I'll do it a little bit more because I need to anyway. Okay, so I'm going in, and then I held my tool at an angle and carved.
I get it.
Like that. I didn't do much more there because there's not that much more to go.
Yeah.
But that's the idea. Okay. So now I'm ready to start shaping the donut, and I'm just gonna work the sides and make it as round as possible. So obviously I don't want this sharp edge here, so I'm gonna cut that off. And I'm gonna start going around. I'm like just kind of rolling my tool like this.
Wow.
Right? See how I rounded it a little bit? Same thing over here. And I'm actually gonna, I'm putting pressure upwards now to make this like a more rounded, like it goes in more like a circle. See, I'm going in and I'm putting a little bit of upward pressure. See how I just made that shelf in there?
In and up.
Yeah, actually that time I went down just to make that angle a little bit sharper. Let's see if I like that profile. To me, this is a little thick, but I'll see what it looks like once it's smoothed out. And if I still think it's too thick, I'll go back and carve some more out. But now I'm just rounding. I'm like literally taking my tool and going, you know what I mean? To get that round donut shape.
Wow.
That looks gigantic, right? That foot.
I like it.
I think I still have some clay here. So the nice thing about the thinner one of this exact shape is that you can kind of like, it's a little more delicate. I don't know. This works fine though.
Wow. That's incredible.
To me, it looks a little fat still.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back and take some off because I just think it's a little too much for the bowl.
Right, and you can do different shapes if you
Oh,
wanted
totally.
to.
You could make it a square. You could make it totally. And at the end, the best part is like smoothing it down and making it really like smooth. I just think it's too honky for this bowl.
Yeah. That's incredible. Like how you make that inside that.
Yeah, it just helps it be more of a continuous circle. So now to me, like when I look at this profile, like this line, this is a little high. I'm just gonna go slightly lower. I'm not 100% sure how much clay I have, but I think I have enough to go without like cutting through it.
How do you know that this won't hit the table?
You just like, you can tell. This is so high. And I almost always go in and pull this down a little bit. You can see it, you can eyeball it. But you could also like stick something, your finger over and just see, you know, if you're not sure. But it is a little bit high, so I'm gonna go a little lower. And then I might go in with, this one's finer, skinnier. I might be able to get like, so that's where I would use this tool, but the thinner version to go in there. But it's fine, it's definitely doable. It's nice to trim when it's this dry. It's so sticky otherwise, you have to stop so much more. All right, I think that's, so now I still think this is a honky. I'm gonna go in and make it just a little more delicate. I'm just gonna thin it out. It doesn't need to be this thick. All I'm doing now, Molly, is making this smaller. I'm just following the line, but cutting some of the clay away because it's just, for the bowl, it's a little honky still. And what smooths out all those ridges is the chamois at the end. Sometimes I go over it with the sponge and then the chamois. And actually looking at this foot, like, it's nice because it's so tiny, but it's gonna make the bowl a little bit like more tippable, you know? It looks pretty, but it takes a little bit away from the function. It'll be fine, but it's a consideration, you know? Now this is looking a little square now, so I'm gonna cut in and round it a little bit more. All right, so that's fine. I mean, you could keep going, you know, you could keep working on making it more and more delicate. I think it works okay with the pot now, almost. A little cleanup. Okay. What do you think? This will make it look nice and even.